There is a new bill before the state legislature that would allow judges in New York to carry guns into court. Local Assemblyman Joseph Giglio and State Senator George Borrello are behind this legislation. They say it's designed to undo a change from the state's recently passed gun laws that basically turn courts into gun-free zones. Only law enforcement and some security guards are exempt, so judges essentially cannot carry. Joining us live to talk about this tonight is State Senator Borrello, who represents the southern tier here in our region. We appreciate you taking some time, especially on a Friday. And I got to be honest, when I saw your release about this proposal, I thought, well, don't all of our courtrooms and courthouses and places where you would have judges have security? And I guess it turns out that's not the case. Walk us through how you learned this could be a problem.
Well, I was contacted by the New York State Magistrates Association, which represents those town and village justices. In fact, Judge Dennis Young in East Otto reached out to myself and Assemblyman Giglio. And the fact is there's more than 1,200 courts in towns and villages across New York State, and less than half of them have any kind of armed security. So you're talking about small rural courts, usually at night. There's no metal detectors. There's no bailiff. It's a judge and maybe a prosecutor, or a clerk, and a few other people. So and prior to the so-called Concealed Carry Improvement Act, those judges were allowed to carry a firearm as long as they, of course, were legally able to do so with a pistol permit. Now, because they are deemed sensitive areas, they are no longer allowed to do that, and that has, quite frankly, made them sitting ducks.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if before this change to the state law, did you know of some judges, again, especially in rural areas? I mean, if you're going to state Supreme Court in Erie County or really anywhere else, I mean, you're going to go through metal detectors. You're going to have, state employees, armed, law enforcement personnel who are there. That's not the case for these small courts in rural areas. Were there judges who felt the need to have a weapon on them just in case?
Absolutely. Also keep in mind that many of our small town justices are former law enforcement. They're retired law enforcement and skilled with using a firearm. And by the way, the Magistrates Association did go to the New York State Office of Justice Courts and say, if you're going to do this, then please mandate that there be court security in every court. And they denied that. So this is really a last-ditch effort to restore that. And that's really the concern here, is that New York State is not even taking any steps to protect those justices.
Senator, I'm almost out of time, but I want to ask you about the prospects of something like this. I mean, gun laws are always controversial. Trying to get something like the Concealed Carry Improvement Act amended as you're proposing now, I imagine wouldn't be easy. Do you think you can convince enough people to get on board with this?
Well, I hope so. But at the end of the day, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle just think that, unfortunately, restricting law-abiding citizens is a path to reducing gun violence. It's not. What we have to do is we have to hold criminals accountable. And we've done the opposite with things like bail reform and other laws. So really, this is about giving those judges at least the ability to protect themselves and restoring it like they had that before. And I hope that they see the common sense in that.
State Senator George Borrello, we appreciate you coming on the town hall tonight and taking the questions. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.